What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down Tyler Boyd and his route running ability. Guys, we're going to be talking about how to run a post corner. We're going to be talking about a jerk route, and we're going to be talking about how to create some separation on this slant out combo here from a clip with him in college. Okay, so guys, if you're a receiver and you want to improve your hands, you want to get better at catching, 30-day program to improve your hands. Check out that link in the description that says improve your hands in 30 days. Grip strength exercises, hand-eye coordination drills, and overall repetition drills to improve your hands. Hope to get you guys on that soon. Let's get started. So with this post corner here, I'm going to first start off saying that a DB is going to be disciplined and is going to watch your hips, right? So we got to make sure that you commit your upper half, right? This DB kind of had his eyes up on his shoulders, right? So for any DB watching this, maybe trying to get the other perspective, you got to make sure that you're focusing on those hips. But as a receiver, we can use those hips to kind of reverse engineer this route to where we're getting some separation because we understand what the DB's looking for, so we know what we need to commit. But if we get our eyes up here, your head and your shoulders are going to lie every single time. That's a given, right? We want to lie with my head and my shoulders, get my eyes to the inside. Eyes tell lies, but it's not just your eyes that have to tell a lie on this post. So you see when he comes off here and he breaks to this post, coming off of this third outside step. Now, the first thing that comes around are his eyes, commits his shoulders, and commits his hips, right? This is what's going to get a greedy DB to try to undercut this thing. Now, again, if my hips, and this is kind of like, this is pretty good because this is more so like a skinny post break, right? It's not so much like a hard post break that he's selling. But let's say he was keeping the same skinny break, but this right hip was still kind of drifting open, right? Maybe he wasn't as confident in his feet, and it was starting to drift him back outside, back upfield. I think, let's watch this thing full speed first, fellas, because I know a lot of people like to see that first. So when he breaks here, 1, 2, 3, pops it off, and then gets back outside and creates some space. So I think the key on this, again, like I said, let's get back to the breakdown. When we're here and we go to the post, if this hip is drifting upfield and your shoulders are kind of telegraphing that you're going to break this thing back out to the corner, or if you're running a post out, or if you're running whatever, any kind of double move, you're running out and up, and then it'll be your opposite shoulder. But this is the key right here. Being able to commit both shoulders, both hips, and snap your eyes back to the quarterback, that's what can get you some separation, right? But if I'm drifting into this break because I'm not that confident on my cut leg, then I'm going to not get enough separation. So now, how we change direction when you commit your shoulders, commit your hips, commit your eyes is by being sudden with your feet. So you see when he breaks on this post here, he breaks on the post, 1, 2, 3. And that third step is what's got to get you out of there. That third step is that stick that can push you and get you back into the 45 of this route. Now, what a lot of young receivers do, or at least some of the younger receivers that I work with, the mistakes that they make is when they make this cut, they're way too far forward, right? Because they got speed into this post. They know that you got to be fast in this post. You got to commit yourself. But when they make this cut, they're way too far forward. Their shin angle is straight up and down. You see how his shin angle is on this 45-degree angle here, because that's what's going to shoot him back out to the sideline. That's what's going to give him some explosion and be able to get him right back on that 45 and not have this long bowed out thing right here. If he's not sticking off of this leg and pushing and ripping his arms, you see how he rips his arms around and he's pumping those arms to get out and snaps that head around? That's what gets his hips and that's what gets his shoulder back on that 45, or his shoulders back on that 45-degree angle off that post corner. The last thing we want to do is round it out, especially when we're in a game time situation and maybe we got a safety there. If we're from the outside, we don't necessarily have to worry about that. But if a DB's over the top, like it's zone coverage, he's going to be able to speed turn. If we round it off, we're not going to get space. And man right here, it's always important, but it's not as important, but we still need to be at that right spot when the quarterback's giving us this ball, okay? So now, again, make sure that this stick is sudden. That's the only way I'm able to change direction when I commit my shoulders and I commit my hips. I got to pop that foot in the ground. I got to push off that inside arch. I got to rip my arms, snap my eyes back to that quarterback so I can get out of this break fast and be in that spot he needs me to be in, okay? Let's watch this thing full speed again. It's a great route here by Boyd, coming off third outside here. Pop, 1, 2, 3, sudden stick, commit those hips, commit those shoulders. Eyes and shoulders will get him to believe. Hips will take him where he wants to go. So make sure we commit all three of those things. Okay, so now let's talk about this release here. So he's going to be kind of giving him this little hesitation, skip, break to the slant, then break it right back out. So it's almost like a post-out concept, but it's a slant-out concept, okay? So let's watch this thing full speed. So he kind of hesitates, breaks, 1, 2, 3, breaks this thing off sudden, rips those arms to get him right back out on this break. So this really applies to anything, okay? So you see how this DB's here, he's in this catch, right? So he's not pressed up, he's not getting hands. You could already tell he wants to bail. He wants this receiver to close the gap, right, so he could get hands on him, right? But if we got to plan plan for that and maybe we change up the tempo, we can use that against this DB. We could use this to our advantage. So you see when he comes off here, he kind of changes up the tempo on him, gives him this little skip. And now what that does is it gets this DB on the defensive a little bit, right? It gets him on those heels. It gets him slowing down his tempo, right? Because it's just the reality of the position. It's not rocket science. He doesn't know where you're going, right? We do know where I'm going. So we got to make sure that I keep him guessing. I keep him on his heels. I slow play. I change the tempo and pop. I'm out of this thing, right? And that's exactly what he does. Slow plays it, cuts right here from 0 to 100, right? And that gets a reaction out of this DB. That forces a reaction out of him because you change the tempo of the route down. I change my tempo. I break to the inside, right? So same idea, right? Same idea as that post corner. See how he commits his hips, commits his eyes, commits his shoulders, right? Now that will get a this out of it, and you see how this DB's the eyes are a little bit high, right? So we can make a DB pay for that if you commit your shoulders, if you commit your eyes, right? And even if he's watching those hips, your hips are still going to the inside as well, so that will get him over to the inside as well. That's why it's important to fully commit yourself on cuts and be able to put the brakes on a dime and be confident in that stick, be confident in that cut to get out of there. So again, after he makes this break here, breaks 1, 2, 3, and you see how sudden he is with this break, right? Maybe a little tall with his pad level here, but again, very sudden. That's the only way I'm able to change direction. You see how this inside foot right here, you see this leg where he's got this white leg sleeve on. I want you to see how much it opens up and then focus on how much his arms rip him out of this break, because so what I got this DB to commit, so what I got him to bite on this break, so what I got him to bite on this slant and in a situation like a post out, so what I got him to bite on the post, like the last clip, so what I got him to bite on the post out of the post corner. I got to make sure I keep this separation and drive out of there, but also be able to get flat and stay at the depth that the quarterback needs me to get at. So you see how he breaks here, and look at that leg. Opens up. He's opening up that hip, and you see how his arms, I want you to watch this left arm where he's got the sleeve on. He almost like, you want to think of it like you want to elbow somebody behind you and you want to rip this arm through to get your hips committed, get your eyes committed, right? Because again, we got this guy to stop his feet. We got him to realize, oh shit, I got beat. We got to get back to the outside. So you see how he rips that elbow around, snaps his eyes back. That gets his hips, and he can continue to drive to continue to widen this gap that he has from this DB and accelerate out towards the sideline and make this nice toe tap catch. That's a great route here by Boyd. Let's watch it again full speed. So again, changing up that tempo, break to the inside here. So get him to overcommit, right? Commit your shoulders, eyes, hips, pop this thing off, be confident in that cut. If you guys aren't confident in that cut, that's why you work all those cutting drills that I have on my page. If you look for those drills, you go to my wide receiver playlist, and there's a ton of drills that you can do, or there are drills on my website that you guys can get. They're more so advanced drills, but being able to pop that thing off on that stick, accelerate back out, rip those arms, that keeps your separation. Let's watch it again full speed. So he comes off here, breaks, 1, 2, 3, pop this thing off, accelerate out, catch this ball, great route. So now we're going to be looking at this jerk route here. Kind of tough to see, but it's selling like we're maybe running a whip, or we're running like just a quick little stop, or like a hook, like a spot route over the middle, okay? So we're going to be looking at him here. Let's watch it again full speed. So he snaps down, gives a little head and shoulder movement to the outside, a little jerk, that's what they call it, and that's what gets him some space. So you see how when he's here, Boyd, he snaps down, and he puts the brakes on to be able to decelerate right now, right? I can't stress it enough. When you're running a whip, stop, this jerk route, you're running over the middle, and you just want to be able to put the brakes on and be able to just stop right now, decelerate, right? Because if you bring yourself to a halt like that, that's going to serve to get a reaction out of a defender, right? So I put myself on a halt. Now, what gets him to jump outside is this little jerk with your head and your shoulders. That's why they call that this thing. And that's the terminology that I'm familiar with. I'm sure there are other terminologies used for this, kind of like similar to a whip, a lot of terminologies for it. So you see how he gives his head and his shoulders to the outside here, right? It's just a little bit of a stick. Snaps inside, jab to the outside. That head and shoulder fake and giving his momentum this way to the opposite direction, to the right here, to his left. That's what's going to be able to get this DB to want to overcommit, or this defender, linebacker, whoever, to want to overcommit, because again, he's sitting there, especially in zone coverage. He feels you break right in front of him. He feels your head and shoulders go out, because in zone he's going off all field. He feels your head and shoulders go wide. He's going to jump out wide, and then I got to make sure I do my job off of this cut right here. I got to push, I got to run my arms, and I got to make sure I accelerate out of this break to catch this ball. It's a great route here by Boyd. Let's watch it again full speed. So you want to see drop your hips, give it a little head and shoulder jab, use that jab to push and propel you back out of this route. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you guys have any questions on any of this, please leave those in the comments. And if you want to improve your hands, check out that 30-day catching program in the description, guys. I'll see you guys next time.